Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Yes, it's 2024, the new year of 0 Dark 30 SHTF coming at you live. Wow. So here we are. We made it over the hump, and now we're descending even further into this mess. All right, well, where do we want to start this year? Well, hell, let's start with World War III. And let's start with the U.S. military. Let's just go right out the gate. The Dutch military leadership. You know, folks, I love the Netherlands. I love the people there. But the leadership in every country, if you want to call it leadership, is insane. Meaning, they're crazy. In my opinion, I think they're criminally insane. When you look at what they're doing, what they're encouraging, what they're promising. What is the Dutch military leadership calling for? They're calling for people in the Netherlands. The Dutch are saying, we're going to go fight the Russians. Get ready. Now, have you seen the size of Russia? And have you seen the size of the Netherlands? It's a very small country. I don't think the Dutch military can take on Russia itself. Now, they are sending F-16s into Ukraine. And I'm like, really? Okay. I'm sure the Dutch fighters, the pilots, are great. Unlike Joe Biden, I do not agree that an F-16 or 2 or 3 or even 6 is enough to defeat a government that's large. No, you can cause damage, but you're not going to beat Russia with a couple of F-16s. Maybe some AR-15s, right, Joe? Anyways, nope. So, is he speaking for all of Europe? The Dutch military leader. Is the rest of Europe willing to go and just throw themselves into the teeth of Russia and its military? We still haven't got an answer, a conclusion to what happened with that, well, reputedly, supposedly, maybe NATO sending missiles into Russia. There's still going to be fallout for that, folks. It looks to me, if I may, it looks to me like NATO, which includes the United States government in Washington, D.C., the Pentagon, it's looking and sounding to me like they are willing to go to war and risk nuclear annihilation. It looks like they're risking nuclear annihilation in order to get their way with Ukraine. I think that's what they're saying. I think that's what they're saying. They want to go to war with Russia so badly. You find that to be an appealing, appetizing concept? I don't think so. Not in my book. They can have Ukraine, all of it, for all I give a fuck. But as far as I'm concerned, legally, those small Ukraine states that left, they have a right to leave. They can divorce Ukraine just as surely as, counties in Idaho, or rather counties in Oregon, can move and become Idaho counties. What's the difference? Well, the difference apparently is wider war. And even if it's not a nuclear war, are we going to send our military over to Europe to back up the loudmouth Dutch and fucking Polish? I don't think so. Folks, I am not afraid of facing an enemy and kicking the shit out of them. But I'm not willing to waste our military, our treasure, even more of it, on this insanity. Are you? Are you going to call your congressmen, your senators, and tell them to knock this shit off? tell you what, it's going to happen, folks. America is already split, divided, bifurcated. It's done with this shit. This insanity over here. In fact, let me tell you how unwilling America is to go to World War III. Hundreds of military personnel, both active and formerly active military personnel, are now demanding the commanding officers, those responsible in the military, be court-martialed for forcing the Jim Jones juice on them. I'm going to tell you what, there is no order, there's no unlawful order that can be given that has to be followed. The claim that they are innocent because they're just following orders doesn't work. It didn't work for the Nazis. It should not work today. Now, what the hell am I talking about, right? Oh, yeah. You have to take the Jim Jones juice or you're going to be discharged. Hundreds of military personnel are saying we want them courts-martialed. That's it. General court-martials. Bring them on. Any violation, folks, however tiny, every violation of the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, any violation is a courts-martial violation. Period. That's why enlisted men have non-judicial punishment. That's right. You can say, look, I waive all my rights and I'll let my commanding officer in my unit punish me, take my pay, etc., in exchange for not having to go through a courts-martial. Anything, folks, being late one time is actually a court-martial offense. No one's stupid enough to say, you know what? Fucking courts-martial me. Well, hell, I might have been that stupid. I tell you what, folks, here we are. People in America are saying enough of this shit. Not enough people, and not enough of the military. But it's time to start fighting these fuckers where they're at. If any officer violated anyone's rights, because in the military you're told you have rights. You have not sacrificed all your rights. You may be under contract. You may have to follow all lawful orders, but you don't have to follow a single unlawful one. And if someone forces you to, that's a courts-martial offense. Now here's where the line is fuzzy. Not for me, but for the rest of the fucking planet. Using duress, pressure, and threats to force somebody to do something is a violation of their rights. Threatening someone with being kicked out of the military, for example, will cause them to behave, to make a decision that is contrary to what they believe. And that's the issue at hand. They had to threaten people to make them take that shit. That's a violation of someone's rights. It's called duress. It's called coercion. Holding people's military careers over their head and shaking it at them and saying, we'll take this away from you. That's fucking financial or economic or monetary coercion. Take your pick of your terms. Take your pick. There's nothing honorable about that. You may not be able to court-martial the President of the United States, but he is definitely impeachable, and he needs it. The country needs it. This is where we're at, folks. World War III with Russia, coming right up. Or is the U.S. military going to listen to its members and get these fuckers out of office. We don't need people willing to say, fuck your rights. Screw your freedoms, right? That's what Schwarzenegger said. I'm sorry, that is number one. I think Nikki hit it last night during the during the New Year's Zoo. Right? We got to go back to the beginning. What is freedom about? What is the country about? What matters most? You can't have a country without freedom. All you can have is a governmental dictatorship without freedom. Because that's where they always go. Chance favors the prepared mind. It is yours. Welcome to 2024. Make sure you have your potassium iodide tablets. These idiots are in charge of the military and they want to fight Russia. Godspeed. Semper Fi.